Alright, it's currently 10:38 at night. It's cold. It's got to be below freezing. I'm on a bridge above a highway, if you can see that, and I might die taking a long exposure picture. But if you're watching this video, I probably didn't die, so don't worry. I'm still alive. I'm just fine. But here's my 3 tips on how to do better long exposure photography. Wait, you still need to see my new intro from last week. Okay, while I take this picture, watch my new intro, okay? And I'll try my best not to die. All right, watch the intro. What is going on, everyone? My name is Denzil and welcome back to my channel. Today we're looking at long exposure photography and what you need to know in order to get your photos to look like this instead of this. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to assume that you already know what long exposure photography is. But if you don't know and you want me to explain it further, then comment down below, let me know, and I'd be happy to make another video explaining in detail what long exposure photography is. But for this video, I'm going to explain it basically by saying that long exposure photography is exposing your camera's image sensor to a small amount of light for a longer period of time. It allows you to take pictures like light trails from cars and traffic, or allows you to blur the ocean waters or the waves lapping up on the shore, or allows you to see a starry night and the bright lights of the nighttime sky. But again, I'm hoping that while you're watching this video, you already know what long exposure photography is, that we have somewhat of an idea of what I'm talking about. If not, then I hope you just enjoy watching it and learning something new. Moving right along, tip number 1. So for tip number 1, you want to make sure you have a tripod of some sort, whether it's a small Joby GorillaPod tripod or an actual big metal heavy tripod, whatever it is, maybe even just a cheap Amazon Basics tripod. You want to make sure that you have some sort of tripod to eliminate any type of vibrations that the camera might see, whether that be you kicking the camera, which I hope you don't do because that would be poor gear use, and don't kick your camera, or just the vibrations of whatever is around you. If you're in an environment on a table, someone kicks the table, then that might show vibrations on your camera, and you will probably end up with a picture that looks like this. I've tried in the past of taking handheld long exposure shots and it just doesn't work because my hands are moving all over the place. I click the picture and I wait 2 to 3 seconds. I think I'm holding it nice and steady, but I'm not. It picks up all the vibrations or all the movements of my hands, and that is why you need a tripod of some sort. So you can set your camera up, moving nice and steady, and can be sitting there just like that, completely still and away from any type of vibrations or movements or anything like that. Alright, tip number 2, you want to make sure you turn on a 10-second self-timer or 5-second self-timer, whatever your camera options are. If you're using a modern camera like the Sony a6500 or newer modern Canon camera, you probably have the option to turn on a self-timer of some sort. Doing so will eliminate any vibrations that come from pressing the shutter button. More than likely, pressing it without any type of timer will immediately start taking the picture. However, your camera will pick up all the vibrations and all the movements that come from pressing the shutter button. Whereas if you turn on the self-timer, you can press that shutter button and the camera will wait 10 seconds before it starts taking the picture. It kind of allows the camera to stabilize itself on the ground and allows you to clear yourself away from the camera to eliminate those vibrations and the movements that come from pressing the shutter button. If you have a Sony a6500 like I do, the way you turn on the 10-second self-timer is by pressing the left button on the dial, going down 2 slots to the 10-second self-timer, and pressing the middle button. Now, As soon as you press the shutter button, you'll have 10 seconds before it starts taking the picture. My third and final tip for you when taking long exposure shots is to turn off autofocus and to set your focus before you set any of the other light settings. If you're shooting in the daytime and you're doing the daytime long exposure shots, using the really dark ND filters, or even when you're doing nighttime long exposure shots, it can be really hard for your camera to set the focus when doing autofocus. If you put on manual focus and lock your focus on what you want to focus on, your camera will more easily pick up everything that's in that focal length and it will keep it in focus. There's really nothing worse than setting up a long exposure shot, not checking your focus, and just taking the picture. You then leave your location, you go away from where you were taking your pictures, you put it in post, and you see that you have good exposure and good lighting and all that, and all your hard work in terms of lighting your shot and composing your shot turned out good, except for the fact that you're out of focus and your main focal point is blurry. There's nothing worse than that. Don't do that. Turn off autofocus, turn your camera to manual focus, lock your focal length, and take your pictures with manual focus. Well, that's it. That's all I got for you. Those are 3 tips that I've learned in the past couple months that I've been doing long exposure photography. Those are 3 tips that I wish I knew when I started long exposure photography. If you've been a veteran for a while, you've been doing long exposure shots, and you know these 3 tips and you know a lot more than me, then please, I ask you to share that knowledge with me in the comments. I'd be happy to learn from you, learn from your mistakes. That way I don't make them myself. That's what I'm trying to do here. I hope you learn from my mistakes. That way you don't make the same mistakes that I do.
Oh, my eyes are burning. It's so cool. Okay, but now you know I didn't die. And I've also shown you my 3 tips for long exposure photography. It's very cold. I'm gonna go get warm. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Oh, my eyes are burning because it's so cold. Why is it so cold outside? Goodbye.